Hello, thanks for joining us today for this educational webinar on taking advantage of EPAct 179D for your business. I'm Mike Nakora, energy consultant with the Wasmer Company. We're located in central Wisconsin. And joining me today is Lori Jory, cost segregation manager with Schenck SC.
Thank you, Mike. Very happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Glad to have you here. Our goal today is to further educate you that are on this webinar the opportunity to take advantage of additional tax deductions at the same time reducing your energy expenses for your business. So this webinar will help your business become more sustainable and more energy efficient for years to come. We'll have a Q&A at the end of this that we will be responding to at the end of this presentation. So if you can enter any questions that you have as we go, we'll try to address them and hopefully can answer them at the end. So let's get started. The Wasmer Company, we're a full-service energy efficiency consulting firm based in central Wisconsin. We work with larger industrial clients across North America, and we try to help educate them to bring them information like this to help them be more sustainable and more energy efficient.
Yes, and Schenck operates out of 10 locations, primarily in the Wisconsin region. We work to help your business run smoothly. We supply business tax services and business advisory services, primarily helping you get the information to help you make informed decisions in your business. As part of that, we offer the energy analysis and energy modeling service, and that is in support of the tax programs.
So some key takeaway points that we'd really like everyone to pick up on. One, difference between the tax deduction bonus 179 and EPAct 179D. We're going to kind of go over that, but we see a lot in the field that people think once they just went with bonus 179, there's nothing else available in the future in addition to that. So we want to clearly define that, and we'll go over that in future slides. The next one is pretty fairly obvious. The building, since it's a federal tax deduction, the United States needs to be located in the United States.
The tax deduction is applicable to buildings that are depreciable and businesses that are profitable businesses. The tax deduction is for new construction or new installations, and also for upgrades or retrofits.
So part of those retrofits or new installations, you'd have to meet a certain wattage requirement. So the wattage conversion charts, we're going to have some information. Obviously, with these projects, you need to have a certain percentage of energy reduction, whether it's coming from HVAC or from lighting. And we'll kind of go over that a little bit more in detail.
And the IRS has detailed the requirements that we must meet in order to qualify for the deductions. And Schenck and Wasmer Company both understand these requirements very well. Some requirements require energy modeling, some don't. All projects are a little bit different, and we use different baselines for different types of projects. The advantage of using the tax deduction really comes down to the time value of money. It's taking your tax deduction immediately versus taking it over a number of years. Typically, building components are written off over 39 years. So as an example, we have a building that without taking the tax deduction, we might write off $835 in year one. But using this 179D tax deduction, you are able to write off $60,000 in year one. That net present value of that deduction over 39 years is almost $16,000.
So like we stated before, clearly like one key takeaway from this webinar is to understand the difference and to take advantage of both. So like you can see in this slide that 179 is separate from 179D. We encourage businesses, if you can use the deduction, to take advantage of both. And it's not limited just to 179D. You can see there's other subsections, but for the purposes of this webinar today, focuses on the energy efficiency deduction. So for an example, 179 is a permanent accelerated depreciation year one deduction. can be used for any type of capital equipment purchases, and is capped at $500,000. The 179D deduction for energy efficiency projects is not capped. It's based on the percentage of square footage and the percentage of energy savings and the dollars spent on that project. And that is good until the end of this year.
Just a quick overview of the energy tax deduction. The tax deduction may not exceed the cost of the qualifying property, meaning if you spent, say, $100,000 to upgrade the energy efficiency of your property, you may not deduct more than that $100,000. Second, sometimes we use an energy model, sometimes we don't. If we do need to use an energy model, then we look at total building energy usage versus a baseline. A building energy model is not required when doing a lighting analysis. And in that case, we look at the total lighting energy used versus a baseline instead of looking at total building energy usage.
Well, since the easiest one to achieve out of the HVAC and lighting is lighting, and kind of want to just go over some of the items that you can use that would be more energy efficient. I think all of us are familiar with fluorescent T8s, going to low wattage metal halides, low pressure sodiums, but I think everyone nowadays wants to hear more about LEDs. You can really achieve some pretty substantial savings and really achieve some pretty good watts per square foot, and in most cases, most LED projects will qualify.
The baseline that we look at for doing our lighting calculations is based off of ASHRAE. What this slide just indicates is that the baseline has changed over time. Schenck and Wasmer Company keep up on these requirements, and it's important that you call us to make sure that we're using the right requirements.
So if you want to look at use, kind of a simple breakdown in a commercial building, you can kind of take a look at this slide. You can see that bulk majority of the spend for energy is HVAC at 65%, lighting can be as much as 32%, and then hot water 3%. But when you start looking in an industrial facility, you can look at process heating, drive power, and lighting would be only 2%. But if you look at that though, still lighting has the most waste out of all of these and can yield the biggest benefits as far as quality and safety would be concerned. So one of the things that Wasmer tries to do in advance prior to getting these projects implemented is really doing a detailed audit of your facility and then really determine your specific usage. Everybody that's on this webinar, it's going to vary greatly. So again, contact us and we can help you kind of really define where your energy spend is and then how to attack it. So part of what Wasmer services, what we do is really go into very detailed design, working with your team, and we're looking with quality managers, we're looking for plant managers and everyone to give input. We're looking at detailed ways of being, not just doing one-for-one replacements, but trying to get aggressive and still, maintain quality and safety standards inside your facility. You can see some examples on your screen of some of the modeling capabilities that we would have, so that you can make an informed decision and know in advance the quality that you would have. So this is an energy efficiency case study. You can take a look at an example. It's a warehousing facility, about 300,000 square feet, located in Wisconsin. And they were able to go from a standard 6-lamp T8 high bay fixture in the warehouse to a TLED retrofit system and adding motion controls. So the whole facility would be sensored, and the offices went to TLED retrofits as well. So if you can take a look and see that pretty substantial kWh reduction, almost 500,000 inside that facility. So if you look at the right, you'll see the Environmental Stewardship Award that Beer Capital received. And the project, if you look at the KWH that was reduced on an annual basis, equated to planting 3,620 acres of trees, 429,950 gallons of gasoline, and 4,200 tons of carbon dioxide reduced. So it's a very aggressive project, and they did a really good job with it. And if you look at, they took an annual lighting energy reduction of almost 86%, and a lot of that was gained by controls in unoccupied areas. So an example like this, not in addition to this energy savings that they were able to achieve, they were able to get a potential tax deduction from EPAct 179D of $104,000.
Okay, so this is just a quick summary of what you can think about to figure out whether or not your business will qualify for the 179D deduction. The project must be qualified by an IRS qualified professional engineer or licensed contractor in the same jurisdiction as the qualifying building. As part of Schenck, we do meet those qualifications. The building has to be located in the United States. Secondly, the installation must reduce the annual energy and power costs as compared to ASHRAE baseline, which we talked a little bit about earlier. Thirdly, a software program approved by the IRS must be used to perform the calculations and the energy model when the energy model is required. Lastly, the installation or upgrade must address at least one of the following: interior lighting, HVAC or hot water, or building envelope. Okay, some other key points to remember.
So if you kind of take a look, screw-in CFLs, not really used as so much nowadays, or LEDs, may not be used to reduce wattage for the purposes of the deduction. So it's simple, they don't want you to be able to remove it and replace it with something else. So it has to be a permanent, even a retrofit solution needs to be a permanent placement.
Okay, projects that achieve the LEED, Gold, or Platinum are very well positioned to obtain this 179D deduction. Bi-level switching is required for this deduction. Bi-level switching has several different definitions, but in essence, you need to be able to reduce your lighting level by some method. Equipment that uses solar or wind energy to generate electricity or to heat or cool your structure is a very good candidate for this deduction. When we look at building envelope, we look at the insulation, we look at the wall assemblies, the roof assemblies, we look at those things that will tighten up a building to make it more energy efficient. And lastly, a key point to remember is that multi-family buildings that are 4 stories or more above grade may qualify for this deduction.
So if you have any questions, you can contact us directly. Here's Lori's contact information and mine as well. Hopefully you found this presentation informative. If after this Q&A session you would like more information, please contact either myself or Lori at the information provided here on this slide. We'd be happy to help you. If you'd like to take advantage of these tax deductions this year, please contact us as soon as possible and we can get to work with you to accomplish that as soon as possible. Lori and I would like to thank you for taking the time out of your busy workday to join us.